Hey, it's Paul from Two Bears Homestead. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about gardening in small spaces. I think it's relevant right now. We're in the middle of March, and even though many parts of the country are getting snow on the ground right now, many people are thinking about how to start their garden. They want to start a garden. They don't know how to do it. They don't know with the space that they have if they can do it or not. So the answer to that is yes, you can do it. And now is the time to start really thinking hard about how you're going to do it, because the snow's going to melt. Easter will be here soon. Spring is here, basically. And it is time to start working your ground. So, but not everybody has the land space to do it. Many people are renting in a community, and they can't dig in their yard, for lack of a better word. So you can do something like a raised bed. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Many people are afraid of it, that they don't know what they're doing. And you know what? Just plant. Just get something going. And, it's not always the cheapest thing to do. I mean, yeah, it might be cheaper to go to the supermarket or a farm stand and buy tomatoes, and that's fine too. But tomatoes from a supermarket taste like disappointment, as Jessica Sowers likes to say, and that's very, very true. So if you can figure out a way to grow what you want to grow, it doesn't necessarily have to be tomatoes. I mean, I know people that hate tomatoes, but I think if you get yourself going and just plant, you'll be surprised what you learn, because every single thing that you grow is an experience, and you learn from it. Failure is not a bad thing. So if you grow something and it dies, it's not a bad thing. It just means you've learned what not to do. So yes, you can plant. So today I'm going to show you my Vigo raised bed. I had lost some footage, I thought, but I found all the footage, so I'll be able to incorporate that into this video, show you how we did it here. For those that are new to my channel, we had sold our home in the next city over, and we downsized in order to be debt-free. Now, I loved my home. It was everything I wanted it to be, but I had my raised bed gardens, I had my orchid house. I mean, it was a really, really nice home, but it was not where we wanted to be. We want to move into the homesteading lifestyle. Now, I could have stayed there, and I would have been perfectly fine staying there, but I wanted more. It wasn't making my heart sing, for lack of a better word. So we downsized, we sold that home to be debt-free, to relieve ourselves of all the burden of that home ownership, and we moved into a smaller community. Actually, I moved into a senior citizen, well, not a senior citizen place, but a 55 and up community, and and it is a mobile home. It's a very nice community. I'm very happy here, and it's small. So I planned my garden space out front so I can get something to satisfy that itch to learn, and also using this opportunity while we're here to focus on work so we can achieve the goal of being out of the area, and also to learn, document what we're doing, learn, and I reference Jessica Sowers from Roots and Refuge a lot, but making this waiting room that we're in into a classroom. Learn, learn, learn. So you too can grow a garden wherever you are. It may not be big, it may just be one or two plants, but it's something, and it's yours. So follow along, and I'll show you what we've done. All right, here we go. So what we're doing is, this is the front of my home, and you can see here the walkway leading up to the door. Now, we still have some hurricane damage here. But what we did was, when you see here, all this was full of some kind of shrub when we bought the house, and it came all the way up to the bottom of those panels that you see on that screen porch there. So we had to rip all that out because, first of all, it was just ugly, and it was gnarly, and it was a really bad use of space. So what we're going to do here is, obviously we need to landscape right here, and then in this area here, we're going to put some kind of raised bed. We got to find out what the community guidelines are on that. So we can plant some kind of edibles in there. I may not be able to plant a whole lot in terms of a ton of food for preservation and all that fun stuff, but at least we can get, like a kitchen garden going there. And then what we're going to do up here, and mind the dog, say hey to buddy, is in this space here, which is clearly Mother Nature wants something growing there, is I'm going to put my herb bed there. Now, this is the west side of the house, so this whole entire area here will get a ton of sun, so it'll be a good spot to plant stuff, and it'll be neat. And then with the raised bed right here, and it'll be mulch around that. So I haven't really decided on what kind of landscaping we're going to put in front of the structure over there. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be just something simple, low maintenance. That way we can focus on just growing whatever's in the main bed and the the herb garden, if you will. There is Rob going ahead and digging out all the weeds by hand, because that's what you have to do. They were so entrenched in there. But there was also a lot of debris, pieces of plastic, pieces of cement, so we had to really rake that bed out and get it cleaned up. But my favorite thing to do in the world is use the weed dragon. So I went ahead and I took the blowtorch, if you will, and just burned the top layer of soil to burn up the weed seeds, and also any weeds that it may have taken root or could possibly take root. And then we decided while we were out there to go ahead and get the flagpole positioned, because we need to have that right so we know where we're going to be putting the raised bed when we get to it. But back to the weed dragon. The weed dragon is a great tool for burning through the plastic or the weed fabric when you're situating your plants. There you go, wham bam, easy breezy, you're done. Dig your hole, stick your plant in there. So it's a great tool. Get a weed dragon, trust me. So on the left side of the house there, we planted lemongrass. Rob likes doing the manual labor part, so we both do, but let him have at it. Why not? But the lemongrass is a great plant to have on hand for the medicinal purposes, for teas, and also for bug repellent. So there we go, get working on that front. But back to the herb garden, we still, got to clean that out. There's so many pieces of cement in there, so it was a little bit of a process. It's like we finally got it cleaned up pretty much the way it's good as it's going to get, I should say. But the soil up there is actually pretty good, so I was pleasantly surprised by that. So somewhere in its life there was some good planting going on there before the shrubs took over. So here we are. We're using a Black Cow type product from one of the big box stores. I'm top dressing. I'm putting a heavy layer on, and I'm just doing it, because I don't want to plant directly into the soil without some kind of nutrition there. Got to start building the soil, and this is the first step in building the soil there. And then just went ahead and putting the initial planting in there. That is parsley that I'm planting there, and you'll see later that parsley plant just looks amazing. And then in front of me is also the basil and one of the oreganos. So there's much more in there, but you'll see later in the video. But I absolutely love it. So after we did this, we decided to go ahead and get the Vigo bed put together. This from Vigo Gardens, I highly recommend it. If you don't want to build a raised bed, this is a great option to go. It comes together pretty easy. You can change the configuration. And it was something that we wanted to do that looks nice for our neighbors, and it was, like I said, it was easy to put together. We did use the weed fabric to burn the weed dragon to burn the fabric underneath. And then, because we had a hurricane, we had a lot of horticultural debris in the back of the community, so I went and scored some. But I'm afraid I may have went a little heavy on the hugelkultur of using the mulch and wood chips from the back. But I found an organic composted manure place that's local to us that sells this product. So I decided to go ahead and get a few bags worked into the mulch and the wood chips and all that stuff that I picked up from the community, and get it worked in there to start giving it a leg up on some decomposing. I have to do something because I have an awful lot of wood chips in there. So I worked it in, and then I put a nice layer on top as well. And I just really wanted to kind of get a layer of insulation, if you will, from the soil that's going to be on top, because I certainly didn't want there to be any kind of energy pull or nutrition pull from the plants up top. So I think it's going to work. As you'll see, I think it is working, but I watered it in really good because I wanted to kind of wash it down through a little bit to kind of get something else down into those wood chips. The wood chips were decomposing, but they were, they still need a little leg up. And here we are, we're using a Miracle-Gro potting mix. Now, this is not something I normally would use, but we still have issues here getting quality soil because of the storm and the amount of people that are going after it. But the potting mix was hydrophobic, and it was bone dry, and the only thing you can really do is do exactly what you see here in the video, is that we have to keep flooding it with water, working it in, getting all the organic material inside this potting mix, to getting it saturated. because we absolutely you cannot plant into this dry soil, because it'll never, you'll if you put this in dry like this, plant your plants and then water, the water will never make it all the way through. The soil will always be dry. And this is south and west facing. This is in the sun all day long. So I wanted to make sure that we took the time. Literally, it took like almost 2 hours to go ahead and get this soil super as hydrated and saturated as possible. And I think we achieved that because, like, right where I'm standing in the green shirt there, water was actually running under that mulch and down toward the street. So we were getting it in there. So at the end of the day, I think, it was an effort. And as you'll see later, it's an effort that paid off for us. So got it all cleaned up. And then I had a bunch of plants that I picked up from a farm stand up the road from us that they plant their own tomatoes. So they were selling some starts. So the plant right here in front of you is a Roma tomato. I found that out because I found the tag. I'm really bad. I keep losing tags, so I got it. That's something I need to work on as a homesteader, is don't lose the tag. But the other tomatoes, there's one that's like a variegated something or another, and then there's a dark star and a Cherokee purple, but I don't know which is which, and I'll know soon enough when they grow. And then I also have the herbs there and the chives. So that's the setting up to the front bed. I'm standing outside in front of my home, and here is the result of the work on the front of the house. It's a beautiful afternoon, so I waited for the clouds to roll away so we get a little late afternoon sunshine. So it's the front of the house here, and down the side. So down the side here, I just have a couple of lemongrass plants because I really just wanted something grass-like there, but I also wanted them to have purpose, and lemongrass has purpose. And some low-maintenance hedges and stuff in the front of the house. They're still filling in, so we got a long way to grow, but they'll grow, and then they'll grow up, and I want them to get as high as like there, so that'll kind of hide all that white wall, because this was an ocean of plants here, so I wanted to get all that out of here. So we just went ahead and we just kind of filled it up and put some stuff in. Here is the Vigo bed. I'm on my shadow, sun's behind me. So all I have growing in the Vigo bed is 4 different tomato plants, some basil, and I had a little issue. If you can see it, you can see some of the, I think I cut them all out. Right here's one. It's kind of eaten. I found army worms, so I spent the last couple of nights picking the army worms out. So these tomatoes are looking good now. I had to prune out some of the army worm damage, and we seem to have turned a corner on that. No tomato hornworm, so that's a good thing. So I have the 4 tomato plants here. I have 2, I kind of staggered them, 2 over here and then 2 over here, and then I kind of offset them. Then I have the 2 basil plants, and then I have here is a chive plant. So the other basil plant, let's see if I get around here. The other basil plant, which is right in here, it's a beautiful plant. That's going into the dehydrator this week, and then the chives will be going in as well. So this is the Vigo bed. Now up there, up this walkway, is like what we call the front lanai, front porch for people not in Florida. So that area up there just has like some of my orchids, and it's a sitting area. Late in the day it's nice when it's cooled out like it is now, but during the middle of the day it's too hot to sit up there. So really the only thing that'll survive up there is the orchids. And on this side of the walkway is my herb patch, if you will. So down here, I don't know if I can see this. Here we go. Down here I have, in the back there, I have parsley, some random basil plant. I don't even know what kind of basil that is, but I'll use it. And then I have thyme, oregano, and oregano. One's Greek and one is German. I just don't know which one it is. So this tomato plant here is a cutting from one of the plants in the Vigo bed behind me. I just went ahead and stuck it in the ground, and hey, it's happy there. And here is another random basil plant, And then there is my Christmas rosemary. I think I bought that at Home Depot or Lowe's. It's, one of those Christmas plants. And I'm like, hey, it'll work there. And then on the other side of that are my sages. And then there is this lone cilantro back here. I don't know if I'm getting it or not. Right there, lone cilantro. It's already bolting because it's just too hot here in Florida for cilantro. And then of course dill. Now I don't want to disturb it because I think there were a bunch of bees on it before, so I am not I don't want to touch this, but it's going to seed, so I'm going to have a bunch of dill in short order. And then, because I have orchids, I have some hanging orchids here. These hanging orchids, nothing to do with homesteading or anything, but these guys, Brassavola nodosas, they can actually take the bright sun. They turned a little red from the winter and the too much sun, but they'll turn green as I, treat them. And then, this guy's sunburned, but that had nothing to do with homesteading. And then that poor orchid there got mutilated by the sun, so it's recovering. And then down in that corner back there is that little bunch of what it looks like weeds. That's actually sunflowers. Rob went and planted, 200 sunflower seeds there. So I'm going to have to go in there and thin that out. Looks like something's eating it, so I may even have hornworm in there. So, I got to take care of that. I'll address that this weekend. So this is my herb bed. It's right in front of my house. This is what it looks like. This is real. This is, the front of my home, so I want to make sure, my neighbors aren't looking at, sloppy stuff. And I'm still working on, the rest of the front of the house here. The golf cart, got to have the golf cart. So now the Vigo bed, or I'm sorry, the green stalk actually is doing really well. It's starting to decline a little bit. It's a couple months old now. This side is not so sexy, but the other side is actually doing really, really well. So I turn it and I rotate it. So you can see like the petunias, they're starting to decline. So that's the green stalk. So that is the what I'm eating off of. I'm eating the red romaine. I'm eating all these different different kales that I have growing down there. This parsley. Look at the size of this thing. This thing is amazing. I actually dehydrated like 2 loads out of this parsley already, and I feed it to the birds. I have parakeets that I rescued from somebody in the park, and so they literally get 3 or 4 pieces of this every day. The parakeets absolutely love the parsley. Some different lettuces. The nasturtiums, really, really cool. Some more lettuces down there. The kale. Then of course more orchids. So they're all starting to recover, so I'm happy to see that. So, but what lettuce is this? This is butter crunch lettuce. And what does it look like? Starting to get a little bitter. So here we are a couple of days later, and I realized as I was editing the video that I didn't actually shoot a closing of the video, if you will. So the Vigo bed, it looks really good. I think it's going to be okay. I was a little concerned about, and I still am a little concerned about, the amount of wood chips and mulch that's under there, but I think it's going to be okay. The plants are showing no sign of declining, no issues whatsoever, so I'm pleased, and I'll keep you posted on that, and I'll be monitoring that as well. Also, I didn't mention earlier in the video that there was a bag sitting on the bed as I was planting the plants, and that stuff is called Super Thrive. I use that for my orchids, and I also use that around planting, because it's just like a vitamin supplement for the plants, if you will. You've seen it in Home Depot and Lowe's, maybe even Walmart. I'm not sure if that's coming in clear or not, but this product's actually pretty good. So, and for the orchids, I dilute it in a spray bottle and I mist the plants, and they seem to really respond to it. So, I started using it around the vegetables and stuff like that as well. Now, on a large scale, I wouldn't do it because it is expensive. So, but on a small scale like this, all day long. So, that's pretty much it. I hope you were inspired to garden in a small space, make a raised bed or build a raised bed, however it suits your budget or fits your budget and your space, and just grow. just plant something and grow, because spring's here, so a lot of people are thinking about it. But I think that if we inspire each other, we can all grow something. And the world is kind of in a weird place right now, so more and more people are thinking about growing, and I encourage you to. We all in the homesteading world encourage you to, and like I said earlier in the video, even if you grow 1 or 2 plants and and you're just eating off of it fresh, it's something. It's a start. So just plant, just grow. And if you wanted to see a video of how we put our Vigo bed together, it'll be up here or up here somewhere. And then also I'm going to also put in a video about the building of our green stalk as well, and it'll be up here or up here. So but that's it. So smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share share this video on your social media, tell your friends about us, and and then on top of that, just get growing. And that's all for now. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks.